And we are live again. WrestlePurists Worldwide, episode 82. The usual three back in business. Joe Hulbert is back in commission for WrestlePurists Worldwide. Happy to see him. And it was one of the big weekends of the year. Two pay-per-views, AEW and WWE. Kings and Queens of the Ring were crowned. AEW celebrated 5 years with Double or Nothing. So we're going to be reviewing those highlights, the downs, reacting, and answering some questions, you all guys' takes, all that sort of stuff, the usual stuff. But yeah, first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any questions, any takes, anything like that. Turn on the post notifications. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Starting with my fellow co-host, Joe Hulbert, back in business. What's good?
Nothing much, mate. Happy to be here. Happy to be feeling a little bit better. Unfortunately, I've made Ibou of WrestlePurists ill via our WhatsApp conversations, so it's a new science there to be examined. But I'm doing better. Happy to talk about the professional wrestling. Yeah, man, it's amazing. There's a lot to talk about today, right? We've got like 28 matches, I think, to get into. So excited, fired up to be back on the world. But I was like genuinely bummed out I missed last week, as I think you're aware. I was quite upset. So
yeah, I had to bury you on the air, bro. It wasn't.
You did have to too, because missing worldwide was like a thing we actively avoided. So it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Didn't even send in a video. Anyway, Ibou, you are currently muted, but hope you're doing good. What's going on, brother?
I'm not, but I'm happy to be here as well. The WrestlePurists injury bug got to me. I think I forewarned this on the previous show Friday for what was it, King and Queen of the Ring. I think I literally said on that show that I feel myself getting a little sick, and it's probably going to get worse over the weekend, and that's exactly what happened. I almost died on Saturday, and I still feel like dog shit here. So thanks to Joe for giving me COVID-19. But I just couldn't miss the town because we're gonna get some super chats here. The gate's gonna be nice, hopefully. And I did want to talk about two shows that I enjoyed on both ends. So I'm looking forward to talking some wrestling and getting through this 37 matches that we have to cover tonight.
37, it's not that many, It's like AEW, and AEW pay-per-views and AEW pay-per-views. It's a lot of matches, it is what it is. But, King of the Ring, it was like, what, 5 matches? 6 matches?
6, yeah. 6 with the big pre-show. Classic.
Of course. We are going to start with what's fresh. We're going to start with AEW Double or Nothing. I think that's the right way to go. Because, like I said, it's fresh. It's what people are still talking about currently. Although people obviously still talking about King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring as well. But, like I said. So let's, I'm feeling to just dive straight in, man. Like you said, we got a few matches to talk about. So let's just dive straight into it. I'm going. Do you want to talk about the pre-show?
Not really.
No.
Not because it was bad. I just don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I mean, the pre-shows are what they are. The nice little matches. You had Diana versus Thunder Rosa. You had the Acclaim and Billy Gunn versus what was it? Gates of Agony.
The Cage of Agony now, and they got off to a great start as a new group with a loss to the Acclaimed. So I mean, whatever.
In a match
making the presence felt on the roster,
Yeah,
in a match where Billy Gunn did minimal selling.
Of course, that's every match, right?
The legend of the Jay White match still ringing in the ears of the people.
What a gig Badass has. He just doesn't bump, doesn't sell, stands tall.
No one tells him to stop either. He just keeps doing it.
I'm like, all right. Like it doesn't. They don't even notice. You know what I mean? Like
they probably don't watch the matches. That's why.
Anyway, AEW the main card kicked off with Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the AEW International title. Very nice match, as expected, and I think it's safe to say, as expected as well. Will Ospreay winning his first AEW singles title, probably will be the first of many, you'd suspect. Very good way to start off the pay-per-view, I thought, and of course we'll get into what happened after, following the match. But I'll throw it to you first, Ibou. What did you make of it?
It was very busy.
It was.
It's very, very busy. It's busy in a way that I really would have found off-putting had the talents involved not been as good as they were, and busy in a way that got a little redundant over the course of the night because many matches on this show were agented very similarly, and that's something to look at on another. Like the next time they go back at pay-per-view, I think they really, really need to lock in on like what are the matches with heavy interferences, what are the matches with heavy, this or that, or like what are the matches we're going to do this angle and that angle, because again, by the time you're at the later in the night, it's like some of the things like interferences and things like that. It just kind of feels like an expectation, which it should never be that way. It should always be like a game changing pivotal moment in a wrestling match where it's like, holy fuck, this is gonna like alter the trajectory of this or that, or it means something. It shouldn't just be, oh well, the bad guys have these people in their corner, so they're just gonna interfere. That notwithstanding, Will Ospreay and Roderick Strong are amazing wrestlers. And I think we all circled this match as something that was going to be spectacular, and it was. I expected this to open because it just felt like the type of thing that they would open with, because it's the international title. Ospreay's a firecracker. You want to open the show hot with a hot opener. I thought that the crowd was really good for this. Like I noticed pretty immediately when the bell rang that like I was like, this isn't like this isn't your father's Las Vegas. They were like making some noise there. Much dramatic step up, at least in this match, compared to like last year's crowd, which just was very disappointing. And I had a good time with this. I thought the action was great. Essentially, it was basically it was Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay just trading bombs, a lot of firepower, a lot of excitement, go, go, go. They're either doing big moves to each other, or Ospreay's doing moves to the outside on the other heels. What I will say about the interferences were that Will was made to look like a stud because he was able to overcome all of it. So there was that, and just a very strong opener. And Will Ospreay's your new international champion. He lamented the Tiger Driver, so I guess this is a thing he just doesn't want to do in general. Now I thought it was like he didn't want to do it to Brian because of the head stuff. He just doesn't want to do it in general, it appears. So
it's too dangerous, bro.
Too dangerous.
It's too dangerous,
Nevertheless, he got
pro wrestling,
for sure. Nevertheless, he got the win here, and I thought it was awesome. What did you think, Joe?
Very good match, I thought. Very good. Didn't quite reach the heights I was hoping for just because of some of the agenting stuff you mentioned. Like, I agree on the interference. I also, the callous melodrama wasn't for me. I think Will has many strengths. Acting is not one of them as of yet. I would avoid that, but they seem hell-bent on it, so whatever. The work here was pristine, though. I think in terms of just physically, I think this was the best match of the night in terms of the work. And I'm not saying overall, because, again, I think the agent hurt it in that regard. Everyone knows what I think of Roddy in terms of his just engine and output, right? The physicality, the way that he fills in gaps, and the firepower in those little chop exchanges and strike exchanges. And Ospreay, obviously, right there with him and then some, just spectacular. So in terms of the interference, I agree with your point that if nothing else, this one at least made Ospreay look cool, which should be really one of the main goals of the promotion every time they go out there, right? Like the energy for Ospreay is different, dude. I mean, I think I'm breaking news. So really good match. I think they have a better one in if it was less, dictated by some of the booking pieces. But that's wrestling, right? It is what it is in that regard. They're trying to achieve different things, but really strong opener. I love the big gate. That open they did with hidden blade attempt. Really cool visual. So very good match. Very good. Oh.
Yeah, very good stuff. But it didn't come.
I saw that too, Joe.
I'm cutting out. My internet was a bit jumpy then.
Yeah, you're back. It was like a slight delay. Yeah.
Joe, you had a split-second puzzle expression.
I was like, did I just stink it up? I was like, I finished my match review. Monty was just staring at me. I was like, fuck it. I thought it was pretty good.
Sandbagging you or something. Like he just was like, anyway.
I tagged out.
Like, okay.
You gave your opinion. Go ahead, Monty.
But yeah, man, Roddy, Ospreay, the combination of Roddy's engine and Ospreay's level of execution, it was something to see. He had a few issues, but you guys already kind of outlined what they were. So yeah, man, good stuff. And of course, the big thing everyone's talking about, MJF returns. But before that, Adam Cole, he comes out, looks pretty all right. You know, he comes out,
it's all about
makes his way.
Adam
People
Cole,
were happy
baby.
to see him. You know, he makes his way down to the ring. Of course, still apparently recovering from his ankle injury. But yeah, he comes down. He basically just cuts a heel promo, setting up the big moment of MJF coming back. Really, wasn't it? Yeah, that's basically what more can you say about the Adam Cole promo? It was just basically him going out there to say yes.
I challenge you. Can anybody here actually tell me what he said?
I think he was about to call himself the devil himself or something again.
I mean, it's what it was. I mean, the crowd was chanting MJ. Like, it was, you know, it was just a bad signal for. And let's be real. I don't want to jump ahead, Monty, but let's be real. Thank God they just did this the way they did it. Just erase all of that and have him kick the shit out of Adam Cole. Let's move on with adult business, please.
It's so pro wrestling to like set up something and like later they realize it kind of sucks and then just like completely piss on it and just move on. That's so
imagine the other way around where Max comes out and then they do an immediate angle with Adam Cole. Like, fuck that, dude. Just let him.
And it's like, see the follow up to MJF and Max, part 17 on Dynamite. Like, no,
just let Max. Just let him reset. Like, I thought they did this part. But anyway, Monty, you were going to get into it. Set it up for us, mate. Go for it.
Not really. Wow, MJF is back. You know,
he's back.
Fit. You know, fit.
Ready to play the game.
Always.
Oh, I love that loud.
Notable. And the promo, there was a lot to unpack, man. So I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to throw it to Ibou, and you can start us off. MJF is back. What did you make of it? And any notable things you want to take from the promo?
Yeah, he said, in case you guys forgot, I am the game, and I am that damn good, and I'm entering in the Royal Rumble. And the crowd was like, yeah. And then Kurt Angle came out, and then he pedigreed him, and then Austin and Undertaker came out. It was a pretty good segment. But in all seriousness, he came out. He looked like Wolverine, and basically, he kicks Adam Cole in the cock when it appeared that they were going to hug, and essentially, he basically just buries everything about the Brochacho stuff in that storyline. He picks up the devil mask and he says something to the effect of just like, this represents everything about late 2023 that I hated. I hate this mask. I hate this. He called it bullshit. He called the Brochacho stuff bullshit. He said no more kangaroo kicks. He talked about how like he's going to be re-embracing hate. And the crowd started chanting hate. So yeah, he's done with the bullshit. He's done with the kangaroo kicks and the Brochachos, you know, and he's done with all of that stuff. And he's kind of walking around strutting a little bit. His shoulder had a little bit of a swing to it. I thought he was John Moxley for a second there, as he's saying these cool lines. But the crowd was super into him. They were super hot. They're going crazy for MJF. He feels like a star. It's hard to tell whether he's a babyface or a heel. What we do know is that he's somebody who's back to just kind of coming for everybody's necks. And he's done with the Adam Cole stuff. Symbolically, literally, figuratively, verbally. He just buried everything that had to do with that stuff, pissed on its grave, and moved on. And so now Max is ready to just progress forward. And, he also made an allusion to he said he's going to come for people's faves. And, I mean, considering we are now in this dynasty era that he's walking into for the first time, very much feels like to me that he's kind of pointing his fingers at, you know, certain people like Swerve, like Will Ospreay, like Kazuchika Okada. So it looks like Max has his eyes on those types of people rather than Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom. And yeah, it's interesting timing considering, as announced in the pre-show, the one thing we did forget, Martha Hart was out there, and the Owen tournament this year will be for the main event of Wembley Stadium, because the winner of the tournament is going to get the title shot at Wembley for the championship.
Indeed. Joe, MJF, he's back. He said a lot of things. Maybe touched on some of them.
Sorry, my deepest apologies. I forgot one of the big things. He basically said, like,
there's a few of them.
Right.
Tattoo, that's
what I was gonna say. He basically made it clear, like, yes, I was working in Marks. I'm staying with AEW. He said, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm the Wolf of Wrestling. And then he reveals he has this like lower calf Achilles tattoo. And it says bet on yourself with like a janky AEW logo in the middle circle. And Max is staying with All Elite Wrestling. He has re-signed. He officially confirmed it. The crowd was going crazy. He's locked in, and
He is locked in. Tatted up, Joe.
Indeed.
You stole your old deer, bro. What's going on?
Well, I came close to the AEW tattoo a couple times, but I left it on the cutting room floor. Settled for the TNA one instead. But anyway, this was glorious horseshit, dude. Like, you could tell this promo, like Max had settled on like 5 different outlines, and he was just like, what if I just say all of them? You know, what if I just say all of them and just layer them one on? I genuinely thought he'd finish his promo 5 different times. So he did it. He had multiple lines that were like clearly like, you know, there's that, and he kept going. But the crowd loved it. I will say I thought the entrance was like actually really cool. You know, the point of view thing, that was neat. Look, you're never going to accuse Max of his short on ideas, and I actually think his broad overarching idea here was like clearly the right one, which was reset, back to basics, and kind of making a show of the fact that he's just an asshole. That's the character at his best, right? Like, don't overcomplicate the formula. Get back to what people like about it. The main thing that's just very noticeable is he does create conversation and gets people talking in a way that is, frankly, it's noticeably absent when he's not around. And I joked about on Twitter about the Dynamite review payoffs and all that stuff and had some fun. But like, seriously, like, the Dynamite conversation was different without Max. Whether you like the show less or more, whatever you thought of it, Max creates debate, right? People feel passionately about MJF in one way or the other. And I think that's an important piece of a pro wrestling show that sometimes we take for granted. And it was noticeable here. Vegas loved him. And I thought the promo went really well. Again, it was peak Max, and it was like 1,000,001 things going on at once. But that's who he is, dude, right? Like, I mean, that's the charm. So he swung for the fences, and I thought for the most part he hit an awful lot here.
To your point about creating conversation, Joe, it's I put it to you this way. I watched him here, and I did think, well, AEW in this dynasty era had settled into a status quo of some sort, where it's Swerve is a champion, there's the big elite versus AEW team storyline, and everything else is just kind of content, right? And, you know, however you feel about what that status quo was, I did kind of think watching this promo, like, oh, I am interested into seeing how he reslots into this and what he's going to do the next time he appears on TV. I'm just actively interested. We'll see what happens. I'm curious who he's going to come for immediately and what he's going to say and to whom he's going to say it to. And like you said, it's just one of those things where it's like he has me already immediately thinking about the next TV. Whereas my feeling over the last month and a half, at least, is just kind of like I enjoy these pay-per-views for certainly in this kind of vacuum way where it's like, oh man, a lot of these matches are great, but I wasn't leaving the show. Like, for example, Dynasty, which was an excellent show, I wasn't leaving it like, oh my fucking god, I need to watch the next Dynamite. With this, I'm very curious to see what he's going to do next. Now, how long that lasts, who knows? Because for all we know, you know, God forbid, but for all we know, we see that we're shown this next direction, and after a few weeks, it's like, like whatever. But for right now, I'm very interested to see what his next move is. So from that standpoint, I thought this was a very successful angle. And I thought the promo was strong. And he came off like the biggest star in the company, to be honest with you. Like, when he's out there, as much as, you know, there's all the big signings like Okada and Will Ospreay, and all these guys are terrific, like genuinely terrific. And Ospreay has overachieved on the mic tremendously. But Max is out there, and maybe it's the power of the return, but the fans are just going so nuts for him. It was like, yeah, he does feel like he's the man around here. So we'll see how it goes. And I think it's to AEW's benefit that he's back now that he's refreshed and taken these 5 months off.
Yeah, not just going back to kind of basics and what got into the dance in the first place, what made Max special, what made him stand out, and he very much did kind of reset going back to that, what people love about him. And yeah, he's a huge star. He definitely could make the argument he's their biggest star, their most important star, especially when you factor in like his age and the fact that he's committed to the company, even though, you know, pretty much everyone knew that he did anyway, but now it's out there, you know. So yeah, it's a huge bonus to have him back in the fold, and especially when he comes back and provides something where you are interested to see what he does next. I think, you know, in the immediate future, it'll be like kind of dealing with wrapping up this Adam Cole undisputed undisputed kingdom stuff, but going into stuff after that, you know, it could there's a lot of different options for MJF.
Yeah, there's some big matches. There's some big matches for sure.
There's a lot, especially going into you know, a big summer for AEW this year, you know, with All In and everything, of course, and it being the TV rights year, so a lot of big happenings. It's very important for them to have MJF prominent, you know, because I think last night proved anything. He just feels like it's just different when Max is out there, you know. Like he's just a huge star, you know. So you know, I'm gonna take a quick break. Super chats. We've got a few, so get them in now if you want us to read out any super chats immediately about what we've just spoke about. But I'm going to start off with these. Corey Davey, $5. Appreciate it as always. Ibu, do you think Becky to AEW or retirement or re-signs? Also, Sexy Red on NXT has a big chance to be the worst NXT segment tomorrow. That has a big chance of being about 12,000 different things. Like, Ibu, Becky Lynch.
Do I think Becky's going to AEW? It just doesn't seem practical considering that Seth is re-signed and they travel with their child. But I'm not going to just immediately just write it off. Tony Khan is high on Becky Lynch. He really, really respects her as a wrestling talent. But, you know, I wouldn't put my money on that. Regarding Sexy Red, I will not be watching that. And I may have to mute her name Tuesday morning before I end up getting subjected to whatever happens on that program. I don't want to be in attendance when the black race is set back multiple years following NXT. So best of luck with that, and I hope you all enjoy that. I will not be here.
Oh man, I have no idea how that's gonna go, bro. You know, but anyway.
Monty, you were a sick fuck for that post, by the way, and you know exactly which post I'm talking about.
Bro, it's crazy. Bro, it highlights how wild it is that the fucking book.
You didn't need the
NXT.
I saw that and I was like, what is this nigga doing?
Bro, I saw that and couldn't.
Like, is he all right? We're like, what is this? Monty doing okay? Who's good? What is going on here? What the hell?
Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. Can't wait for you to review the main event of the weekend. Team AEW versus Team Jarrett. Brian and Double J stared out. Was like Rock versus Hogan. Come on, man.
You can't get any more Darren Walker than that super chat. We love.
He only does bits now. He don't even ask questions anymore.
I want to know what Darren sounds like. Darren, join a space next time I do one.
Hush 199, appreciate it as always. Gunther versus Randy. I couldn't stop smiling. Need another.
Oh,
yeah,
brother.
It was very that was some real shit, bro.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that, of course, a bit later. Hush again, 199, appreciate it. Any word if Edge really cooked his knee?
I don't know what the body part is, but he's hurt.
Yeah, Brian Alvarez did a
Darby
tweet
Allin's
not
also
that long ago. What is it? As far as things that are like out there. All right. Brian Alvarez, updates today. Copeland was hurt on the cage dive, but I don't know the severity of it. Jack Perry was fine after the fire spot, no issues. Darby was hurt, but got checked out at the hospital, and it appears he's okay. No major injuries.
That's good to hear. I asked somebody at AEW this morning if Darby was okay, and I got a flat no. So to hear that he got checked out of the hospital is a good sign. Now, Darby's version of okay is a lot of other people's versions of being on their deathbed.
Fucked.
It's Darby Allin. Nothing can take this man.
So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the latest on those. But obviously, anyway, anything could have come out since we've been live. Black Yakuza 94, $10. Appreciate you as always. This was one of the funniest weekends for wrestling in a while. Both pay-per-views delivered, in my opinion. Either Gunther versus Randy or Mercedes versus Willow was probably the match of the week. But Anarchy in the arena was pure chaos in the best way. Loved it. Good
What a
weekend,
nice
man.
super chat. What a just jovial, like a high five that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just, man, a lot of cool stuff, man. Right, guys? Hell yeah.
I'm in. I agree. Cosign.
Fist bumps,
Yeah.
You know, I saw someone posted just today saying like this has to be the worst year of American wrestling since I forgot the year they compared it to. And there's days where I'm kind of like, yeah, everything does kind of suck. But then there's days where I'm like, I just kind of take a step back and like today I was like, look, I saw a lot of matches this weekend that I thought were very good. So can't be all bad,
Mustafa Siddiqui, £2. Appreciate you as always. I'm gonna lock in MJF versus Hanger Owen Cup finals.
I think that's very possible.
I could see it. I could see it too.
It's very possible.
Black Yakuza 94, $5. Appreciate you again. MJF is going to go on his own reign of terror and bury all the non-OG AEW talent. 2002 H status. Swerve, Ospreay, Okada. He coming for all of them.
Could you imagine, Joe, what the MJF Ospreay promos are going to look like and sound like?
There's a version of those segments that's incredible, but it could very quickly become like them just making Observer references. So we'll see.
Let me tell you something, 6-star boy. This is AEW. It's not New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hey, bro, listen, bro. I was on a 10-hour flight, bro. I died for this, bro. I died for my kid, bro. I'll fight you any place, bro.
Max is a lock to like compare star ratings to quarter hours or something, right? Like,
hey, you want to talk about statistics, star boy? What about my quarters? And it could be real fun.
And Will Sells like, oh shit, ratings.
I gotta say, Cowboy got him on that one. Now, I do think that would be a hell of a match, and those two guys are obviously the two young studs of the company. But yes, the most egregious versions of those segments are going to be those promos that people talk about all week in podcasts and such. Joe's gonna be collecting money, super chat money on Thursdays.
He's a dangerous man, Joe Hall, but he's part of two monetized YouTube channels now. He's a dangerous man.
I'm cashing in tomorrow with a Bobby Roode show to really maximize.
Forget me. His name escaped me. Who's our guy who always sends us the super chats with the poor wording and spelling? What's my man's name? Will Chisholm.
Will.
Oh, yeah. Will's just going to be asking Joe for his thoughts on the fucking segments every week.
That's pretty good. Shrugging my shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
Kale 50 peso. Who will be the first to call out his tattoo in his WWE run?
Drew McIntyre. CM Punk.
You bloody Mark, mate. You got a tattoo on your leg, bro.
CM Punk,
CM
Punk. He can't leave. He's in for life now, brother.
Let me tell you a personal story, Phil. When I was talking to my buddy, my good old buddy, good old Saint Nick, he warned me about you, buddy. Oh man. It's why we call you PG Punk, Phil.
Listen, stop. Berkey, 199. Ibou respect big sexy she's bringing in the viewers. It would be interesting to see her. Imagine if she does pop a huge quad.
Huge is a stretch.
Yeah, but I'm saying imagine. I'm not saying she's good.
I refuse to. You're not entitled to
get her in for a run.
No.
SummerSlam run.
SummerSlam run. Shawn Michaels is in for a rude awakening tomorrow. He has no fucking clue.
I don't know how you can say you're not going to be locked in for it,
Fuck that.
I'm not saying it's going to be good, but
no.
you out of your
Listen,
mind?
if it got cancelled, I wouldn't be surprised. Like before it happened, like the meter at the PC, and like, yo.
Well, no.
Like,
If they're thrown off, then she's just gonna have like a backstage really short thing. Like they'll just be like, all right, just chop it up with Trick Williams backstage or some shit.
fist bump Trick Williams. Like,
You see, they call you Sexy Red. I think you're sexy. Da, da, da. And it's just, they go back.
what's the impressions today, man?
Yeah.
Machine gunning them, bro. Like,
She should interact with the Good Brothers.
Jumanji Hunter $2 appreciated. WWE title match ending with a propaganda finish. Crying face.
Finish was crazy, dude. Especially because they went an hour beforehand. It was fucking insane.
Wasn't it just Ibrahim Al-Hagaj or whatever to help?
Yeah, he stopped Logan. I thought they were doing an angle and it was going to be like someone debuting. It wasn't.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I was forgiving for all that, Joe, because the night before on SmackDown they advertised them for the show, and I was like, "Fuck, we're gonna have a shitty comedy segment in the middle of this. We're gonna have a shitty fucking Grayson Waller's gonna be there or some shit, and Miz or someone."
Always Grayson Waller.
And then Joe, they showed ringside a bunch of tag teams at some point in the show. I'm like, oh shit, this is the Ibrahim Al-Hajjaj segment. He's gonna say something, they're gonna all jump in or whatever the fuck. So considering that he was just simply the ring announcer that took away his brass knucks, I was like, fair play.
Yeah, I get that because I had the same fault. It was still kind of crazy, but I get you. I get you completely.
Corey David, $2. Appreciate it as always. Ibou, Natalia staying or going? Your guess.
I'm gonna say staying.
Yeah. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Appreciate you. Malachi Black losing without tapping or pinned fire emoji.
Kind of beast.
Beast.
I mean, Gangrel, that is,
To be fair, his team got beat up by Gangrel. I mean, not that beast, actually. Could have done better politically there.
Hey, man. He cashed in all his chips on himself. The others got to figure out something for themselves. He hasn't been pinned.
the tease the massive turn as well. Like.
Bud Vet and Broad King getting the shit kicked out of them by Gangrel.
per our beloved King AO, Malachi has not been pinned in the singles match in over 900 days.
Wow. Do we know who it was?
Cody Rhodes.
But no way.
Yeah, it was Cody.
Oh, that's okay. That is beast. All right.
Ending on a high, What's this? Trixie, $1.99. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Enjoyed the grappling indeed versus Tony more than most.
Happy for
nice little match, man.
Fascinating match that was. It's a lot of different pieces to that match.
Yes. Circumstances, Trixie, $1.99. Appreciate you. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Sorry for doubting you, Mercedes. No major rust. Yeah, she looks sharp, man.
CEO.
Sharp.
Many are saying.
Victor Bottino, $1.99. $1.99. I hope you enjoyed the shows.
We did, Victor. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed them too.
Jumanji Hunter, $2. MJF should have saved his return till playoffs ended.
He's still learning. He'll get there.
Yeah, I was gonna say though,
baby steps.
He's not quite at the.
Yeah, he still loves the game too. He still loves the game too much. He had to get back in there. Give it a couple more years. He'd be like, "Fuck that, dude." Wait until the Celtics get a chip, and I'll come back.
Monty Hogan was rarely there to be found in WCW during April and May.
Yeah, you guys, bro. Those stats. Contract negotiations.
That man Hollywood Hogan told people, "Wake me up for Bash at the Beach, brother." Wake me up.
and then have an NBA player there to give it some extra juice too.
Yeah, wake me up for Bash at the Beach. No, don't call me for Spring Stampede. All right, don't fucking call me for. Don't call me for Slamboree. I'm not gonna be there. It's his deal.
Kale to 20 pesos. Best women's match for North America this year so far.
Bailey and Io. Bailey and Io.
I feel like that's right. I feel like that's probably right.
I think I'd go with Mercedes Willow. I think
very close. Yeah. The only thing is I thought Bailey and Io ended on a real high.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Mercedes and Willow, unfortunately, because of the way the finish looked and kind of where it's placed, I thought it was slightly abrupt. I mean, they're both really good matches. Great.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I don't think there's been an American women's match this year that was like blow away, like unbelievable.
A classic, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure it will come.
Yeah, probably. Mercedes has a championship, so like.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Beast
It's a real
need a
thing,
fight.
dude.
This is hilarious.
999 from Beef need a 5,000. Why is basketball? Why is basketball making me hate wrestling?
The booking's better, dude. The late night grid Discord, they only watch basketball. They don't even watch wrestling anymore. I hit in there and they got the hoops on.
I would say the NBA playoffs were booked well until about a week ago, but that's just me.
Well, yeah, you would say that. Yes, you would.
Yeah.
But it's, they're shooting. There
was like a cool little story with the Knicks, They're all beat up and
they're the heart of the playoffs.
They had no right for going that far.
They're shooting a lot of good angles on the International Basketball.
Jalen Brunson putting up fucking 40 on one leg.
It's,
he's doing it a lot, and now we have to watch the Indiana Pacers, in the conference finals. And
there's some juice to Kyrie back in Boston, though. They're going to get they'll draw some houses with that. Good gates.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Kyrie's going to get some good heat. He's going to get some good heat in Boston. There's going to be the emotional hook, because there's going to be the emotional hook of the Celtics wanting to win this for Bill Walton, which I want to quickly make mention. Rest in peace, Bill Walton, NBA legend, one of the great centers of his era. Won a championship in Portland in 1977, won a championship in Boston with Larry Bird as a bench player. I know him personally in my formative years as a sports fan as being a very, very fun and colorful commentator. He hated a lot of my Knicks, which made me really bitter as a 5-year-old. But Bill Walton was a great commentator. Last seen doing UCLA commentary as a total wacko in his 70s. Rest in peace. God bless.
God bless. Indeed. John, I'm going to throw you the super chats for a minute. Can you take that responsibility? Look, he's sat forward. He's locked.
Yeah. Go on, go for it. I'm ready. Anjan says, Tommy Bolea might be the biggest carny of all time. I believe that's a reference to the aforementioned Malachi Black.
I was going to say, who's Tommy?
He's not even close. Let's be real. He ain't even close, dude. Like, not even. If he was in WCW, he wouldn't be a top 10 carny.
Top 20.
Like,
Brother.
Yeah, because he's still like he actually worked hard last night, which puts him above about 90% of the main event scene in the WCW at the end. So,
bro, nobody else would be able to pull off what this man pulled off at Starrcade 97. When Sting committed to the bit for a whole year, finally got his hands on Hogan to win the belt.
That was disgusting, yeah. I can't even do the like sarcastic, ironic beast thing with that. That was just horrible.
That man got the referee. It was supposed to be a fast count screw job fuckery bullshit. And Hogan said, nah. He got the ref basically to do a regular count when he drops his leg on Sting. Like a
Filth.
Piece of shit.
Nonetheless, we appreciate the super chat. Jumanji Hunter. Bailey and Monet both sharing bad finish. That is, to be fair, because I put over the finish of EO Bailey. I meant more an escalation, but you're not wrong in saying that is not a very good finish, is it? The what's it called? The Rose Plant? Rose Plant?
I think MVP that bullshit. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know. Hush says Ibou, 4 years, 72 million for Hart, and 4 years, 160 for OG. How do we feel?
I'm open to
ESPN.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have to retain the rights to both of those players. So it's whatever you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. OG looks like he's going to be the highest paid Nick on the team, which is weird because he's so important and pivotal to our success while not being our best player. But it's just how the cookie crumbles, and these are the games we play. We absolutely have to retain OG Anunoby, and I appreciate the super chat.
All right. Back to the graps. Back to AEW Double or Nothing. Back to the review. And
we're so fucked.
That's fine. The next few matches we can go through pretty quick here.
I was about to say, AEW World Trios titles match. Well, ROH World trios titles as well. Bang Bang Gang defeat Death Triangle. Yeah, man. Kind of.
It was decent.
Yeah.
It was wrestled like an undercard match, wasn't it? Like that was the way
Yeah.
it was wrestled. But it was still decent, and like there's always going to be good offense with Death Triangle in there and Bang Bang Gang kind of operating as traditional heels. It was decent. The takeaway was Juice's back, which I think we're all happy
Absolutely.
about. His value actually increased in his absence. I missed him a lot.
Yes.
A decent undercard match is pretty much all I got on that.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. Second everything. And hopefully the trios belts become interesting someday. But I'm happy that Juice is there. You know.
Yeah.
The juice is loose.
Factual.
What an insane couple that is, him and Tony Storm. Like, can you imagine those two fucking wackos? Just, you know what I mean?
Real
like,
fucking graps, dude. Real graps.
It's fucking.
Beast.
This is like Whitney and Bobby. My God. You know? Fucking.
Yeah, up next, what do we have?
We had Tony Storm.
Oh,
Tony
Charles
Storm.
Barkley would say nut shit, and Ernie Johnson's like, oh, anyway, the New York Knicks played the Indiana Pacers.
AEW Women's World Title. Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb. The work was good. 15 minutes though, I'm looking at here on Cage Match. Probably a little lengthy, you know, considering the level of like crowd engagement and investment in this. But nonetheless, like I said, it was pretty well worked. Yeah, man. Ibou, Tony Storm, Serena Deeb. Much to say.
Didn't really come together until after the 19th pile driver, and then the fans started to kind of care a bit. And they went back and forth. Some good technical stuff there. Tony Storm had her second consecutive, not bad pay-per-view match. She's made a bit of a shift. She's still timeless, Tony Storm, but she's actually trying to wrestle professionally on these pay-per-views, which is a nice shift. It's welcome for sure. This was hurt crowd-wise by the dynamics not being, like a successful one. You know what I mean? They want to cheer timeless Tony Storm. Serena Deeb was generally the face in this build. But nevertheless, again, as this wore on, the fans kind of got with it, and it started to come together a bit. And so ultimately, I thought by the end, it was actually a pretty decent wrestling match.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of willed it over the line, didn't they? I think.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Sheer effort got out of it. Like, as you mentioned, dynamic wasn't perfect. There was a couple. There was a slight clumsiness early, which surprised me because Serena, if nothing else, is usually technically perfect, right? It's just I think he was trying a little too hard in the first half. Once she settled down, you saw how good her work is, and I thought they had a good match in the end. It was just an uneven, slightly unique match in the way it came together. But they did. It has to be said, you know, Ibou's not overstanding. They did get into it down the stretch. Like they were actually with it at the end. So I thought it was pretty good. But it feels like a match that would benefit from an edit where you had a more clear idea of where you were going the whole time. But they got there in the end, nonetheless.
Yeah, they got there in the end. Was there any angles or anything after it? There was a lot of like interferences and angles during this.
Yes.
They did the towel thing with Mariah. Remember?
This show had so many angles, interferences, chicanery, and moving parts for every match that outside of the really major ones, you kind of forget some of them until you get like that reminder on Dynamite on the next show. But yeah, it was just a towel thing. It's just a towel thing.
Yeah.
All right. The middle of this card, man, it was kind of
It was a bit of a slog. This was I liked the show, good show. Middle of the card was a bit of a slog, I thought.
Yeah.
it's
And
like,
one of those things where in the moment, I wasn't like getting really cranky about it until later on the show when I started to get tired. I was like, I could have actually done without some of the stuff I saw earlier, if that makes any sense. It was like
that's the thing. It wasn't terrible. It was just bloated because of some of the undercard stuff. Is the best way I think to put it.
Right, and then you take a step back and realize like some of this could have just been on TV. And speaking of TV, a lot of this middle section felt like a Dynamite episode to me personally.
Yeah, agree.
mm-hmm. And probably the match itself probably would have benefited from being on a Dynamite where you could have had a bit more juice, you know, and not be kind of like washed in with everything else, you know. Not this Orange Cassidy versus Trent Brown, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like it was terribly worked or anything. It's just like in the middle of this show, like, you know, you could have probably I don't know, man. I feel like this would have, if this could have been, you know, I was saying to Joe before we went live, like if this could have given a bit more like room to like like over the next few weeks, something for fans to really get the teeth into. Maybe Orange Cassidy didn't go straight into this after dropping the title, and he went away for a little bit, comes back, and then you do the Trent turn. A bit more of a substantial storyline, and then you could do like a big main event on Dynamite, and it would really, I think, it would have stood out a lot more than just kind of in the middle of this pay-per-view where it was like pretty forgettable, to be honest.
Very.
Orange Cassidy did get the win with like a wrestling maneuver, as they reminded us on commentary.
You know what's funny, Monty? So I was listening to like some review or something this morning when someone said Orange Cassidy won, and I literally went, "He did?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then I thought like the podcast. I think it might have been like the Observer. And I was like, "Did they botch?" And they checked Cage. And I was like, "Wait, Orange Cassidy won?" And I legitimately like Mandela affected like that Trent won this match because didn't he like beat him up after or something?
No, he kind of he was absolutely heartbroken. Trent was. He just kind of sat there dejected, couldn't believe it, and he kind of like walked out like a zombie. And he was. I think Renee went to interview him as he was walking out, and he had nothing to say. He said he's done.
He pushed
Rocky tried. Yeah, Rocky tried to come and speak to him, and he didn't want to know, and pushed him away. And he kind of just walked off. So
it was. I just don't know what any of that was supposed to achieve. I hate the Don Callis Orange Cassidy thing they're teasing. I think it's just no one buys it. I don't know why the Orange Cassidy character would even like have any interest in being around. By the way, enough Don Callis on this show. I think it's fair to say, right? I don't think anyone's going to be right.
A lot.
Jesus wept.
It felt like when Tony was like outlining the show, he was like, "Guys, we have to leave space for Don," and he put that Don sticker like 17 points throughout this.
Crazy dude. He's all over the show. I thought mechanically this was solid because it always will be.
Yes.
I thought it was very hard to get into. I think it's actually boring at this point to do the Orange Cassidy fatigue talking point, but like it's real for me personally. I think Trent is a really reliable and steady worker. I don't know if he needs to have 40-minute matches on AEW pay-per-views. And I don't think that's not necessarily a reflection of him, though partly it is. It's also like he is who he is on the roster at this point, right? And he's lost both of these matches, so I ain't going to change. Like he's an underneath guy, which is fine. But I think these pay-per-views could like be much more. But I think the mindset should be like this is where the elite guys are at. You know, that's just me.
Yeah, and to your point, that's why when Monty was talking about like, oh, they could have let this simmer and done this, and then gave it a few more weeks to then do that. I'm like yeah, they could have, but it's like, is all that effort worth it for a Trent Beretta who you know that they're never gonna?
Well, obviously in that universe, no.
Because it's just like. It's like I would do that if it was for somebody that I see big things in the future. And, with Trent Beretta, like, that this is just kind of what he's going to be. He's going to be a mid-card heel. And it's like, so if he is, then I don't need to devote this much mental, whatever you want to call it, fortitude, attention, energy. So look, man, it's just two guys that it was going to be very difficult for me to care about watching them wrestle. And the result was a wrestling match that was professional, but it was just difficult to be connected to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very fair to say. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. Like Joe said, the Don Callis thing with Orange Cassidy is what an absurd.
No one buys it. It's just nonsense. Yeah, nonsense.
What are we doing? Quickly blasting these two super chats out the way. Jumanji Hunter, $2 appreciated. No EO Gunther Gable matches. Raw is dead.
It's been dead, bro.
Over.
They lost the draft. Remember?
Yeah.
To say Rhodes 199. Appreciate it as always. Harley
Halliburton.
Halliburton.
WrestlePurists
fan.
Yeah.
Back of Hangman. Best pal. Yeah. Halliburton will miss game 4. #choke guys.
Not crazy, but okay.
He's
based on the super chat.
He wants to see the follow-up to King and Queen of the Ring tonight on Raw. How could he play in the
game? Priorities.
Yeah.
All right. I was about to say Dynamite. Double or Nothing. Oh God, fuck's sake. FTW title 3-way match. Chris Jericho successfully defends versus Hook and Shibata. And I'll just say this. I thought this was like comfortably the worst thing I've seen this weekend. Like this was I thought this was brutal. Over to you, Ibou.
Okay, so fun fact: when this brought, I was watching this on Discord with my guys, and when the graphic for this match came up next after Orange Cassidy, I audibly went like, "No, what the fuck?" and I was like, "All right, I guess they're just gonna backload it with the good shit, and yeah, that was my reaction. And they went out there and they wrestled and they whacked each other with kendo sticks and took turns and did it in a triangle. Hook suplexed Bill off the apron onto through a table. That was pretty neat. Shibata was in this match for some reason. He was pinned in this match. Chris Jericho wore that grotesque Speedo.
Grotesque. It's crazy.
A hooded and masked figure hit the ring, and some people thought it was Sammy, and I was like, nah, it's definitely fucking Scorpio Sky, whatever, And it turned out to be worse than we could all imagine because it was a good wrestler that fell victim to this. I literally went, that's Scorpio Sky. I was like, that's Scorpio Sky, and then he takes his thing off, and it's Brian Keith, and I literally went, no, no. What the fuck? And so the bounty hunter, Brian Keith, is now a part of the learning tree. So my condolences. No, he's definitely a part of the learning tree.
You think he's fully, or do you think it was just like, a bounty thing? I don't know. Some bullshit like that.
Who cares?
That's
The only thing I'll say about this, go back to the pay-per-view, watch Hook's entrance back, listen to the reaction he got, and tell me how much this is working and doing great for all involved. He walked out to silence on this show. Hook, dude. That's the only, because I honestly have no interest in analyzing any further. I just think it's funny.
Right.
I think it sucks.
Yeah.
I think the fact that its depth is literally just like, you guys think this is bad? It's like, oh man, you really got me.
I hate the people that are like, oh man, what a fucking genius. Like, what a fucking smart guy doing some smart, clever stuff right now. Like, he heard what you guys don't like and he said, LOL, that's what I do. Like, what a fucking clever guy. Okay. All right. Yeah. What else can you say? I think it's funny, Joe. I'll say this one last thing. I think it's funny that because Jericho's holding the FTW belt, it's now a belt that half the roster covets. All of a sudden now everybody wants the fucking FTW title so much.
And to be clear, I'm not saying I think Hook's a great prospect because I don't. What I'm saying is
yeah, he kind of sucks. It is what it is.
I'm not a Hook fan.
What
I'm getting across is it was how many months ago he had the match with Joe and it felt like an actual big deal. It's not achieving anything, is my point,
No.
It's just very bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
I am the learning tree. Is that song on Spotify? I want to look it up. I want to just listen.
No. Anyway, yeah, Shibata was pinned after the Brian Keith interference. Blah blah blah.
Can you just go to Noah and wrestle Masaki Miya? That'd be fucking sweet. If anyone hasn't seen it, they did an Ishii Kitamiya rematch, and that was awesome. It was way better than the first one, and I thought the first one was very good. This rematch is one of the best Japanese matches of the year, in my opinion. So,
thumbs up. Dave, give 5.
Yeah, he gave it a 5, so I scoffed at it. I was like, all right, Dave. All right, Dave Nelson. I watched it, slightly arms folded. I'm like, this is some shit I've seen before. Then we get halfway through, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this fucking rules. Holy shit. Yeah, that match rocked.
Double or Nothing IWGP World Heavyweight Title Eliminator match. Not the real deal. I guess you can kind of make your guesses for the reasons why. John Moxley, defends. John Moxley defeats Takeshita in an interesting clash of dynamic.
Yes, very interesting. They took a different direction than their previous. Their previous 2 outings were absolutely spectacular and explosive, and this was not that in terms of a style or direction that they took. This was John is banged up and beat up, and Takeshi's going to dissect this, and so they worked the limb work match, and it was more traditional in that sense, and Takeshita slowed it down a bit and was more cerebral, and John fought back and fought back and fought back, and ultimately as Takeshita tried to cheat and do the things that are expected of him in the Don Callis family, it ended up being his undoing, and John Moxley did him in with the Death Rider. And I thought ultimately this ended up being a strong wrestling match, but because of the way they worked it, it did not hit the ceiling that their previous two matches did, and that's kind of my 2 cents on this.
Yeah, Ibou liked this quite a bit more than I did. We're going to roll reverse in a moment. I struggle with this a little bit. I thought it was like mechanically good, but I thought it was the wrong match considering what finish they were going to do. Like if I was going to beat Takeshita, I certainly wouldn't have had Mox be a one-armed man in this match. I don't think that it was very flattering. I thought the finish was like a cute idea, the way that the timing of it. I get that it was kind of a little bit undone by the fact there was other finishes that were shenanigans and such. But I did think in a vacuum it was a good finish. It's just I think the result itself paired with the way they were the match, I think was a mistake. But it didn't come together for me. I'm kind of Mox is an interesting spot with me where like I'm kind of struggling to sink my teeth into his work at the moment. So that might be part of it. I'm gonna rewatch it because a lot of folks really fuck with this. So it just didn't really work for me.
I hear you there. Not to be a man here, Monty, by just replying to the live chat, but Simeon said that Bozilla would put hairs on my chest if I watched her. Brother, you think backup Hangman, Ibou, and WrestlePurists was not tapped in for the debut of Bozilla? Are you kidding me? I was late to the party, but I did ultimately watch this main event, and it fucking ruled.
Yeah, that was good shit, man.
Absolutely.
Good shit. All right, next up on Double or Nothing then. Getting straight into it. AEW TNT title barbed wire steel cage match.
Now we're talking.
Adam Copeland successfully defends versus Malachi Black after help from Gangrel.
Hell yeah!
taking out the House of Black. Back in the fold, everyone.
Locked in.
Looking at the cool entrance as Ibou is remembering right now.
Oh, come on.
This was obviously I just said the Gangrel, the Gangrel inclusion, but there was a lot going on in this, There was blood, there was drama, there was turns teased, there was Malachi Black tried to stab Adam Copeland at one point.
Beast.
Adam Copeland, the valiant warrior that he is, managed to retain the TNT gold. I don't think he got out of it unscathed though, because there's something about 50-year-old these 50-year-old wrestlers,
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of when Savage did the double axe off the top of the cage at Havoc all those years ago, like the one that destroyed his knees because he basically just did like a standing jump from the top of this fucking. I mean, it was crazy. I hope he's okay. I'm not sure, obviously, but I hope he's okay.
Coming off the top of the cage, landing just
flat.
Just flat, man. It was
kind of sums the match up though, right? In that, like, I don't know how good it was, but it was very fucking beast. And I think if you watched it, that will make sense. That description, like, I don't know, like, good feels like the wrong word, but there is something to be said for this level of just like we are gonna go for it. Like, Malachi blades within 90 seconds. They break through the cage. They do like a House of Black. They tease a House of Black turn and they undo within like 30 seconds. Gangrel is there. Like it was crazy, dude. Like I can't do anything but just pop for matches like this. Like there's no reason for Copeland to care as much as he does. Caring this much for this match is like genuinely insane behavior. And he did. For me, this is where the show started turning around, which is fucking insane, but it's true.
I think this is like, I feel like Copeland has forged his own genre of wrestling match.
He has.
Like, just these batshit insane matches with like so many moving parts. It really just goes for it. It's very ambitious. It's over the top. It's like, it's so ridiculous. When Gangrel pops up, right, and the lights are flashing red on and off, I was like, oh my God.
and he comes from the ring, and I was like, of course it's Gangrel. Of course you got Gangrel a payday. And then I'll tell you what, those DDTs were sick. Like he does a DDT. Yeah. I was like, oh, wait a minute. He is a second. I was like, oh shit. Like, what the fuck? So question, this does not mean that the House of Black have to join him, because that's what he said on Collision.
Have to tune in on Wednesday, brother. Maybe Gangrel's full time, bro. Maybe he's all elite.
Joe, did you see Titantron? Sorry, it's not a Titantron. That's WWE's term. But you see the big screen during Adam Copeland's entrance.
Yes, the Brood.
It said "The Brood" in bloody letters.
It's not funnier than when he was Brood Edge. Remember that? When he was like a video game character? Tremendous.
Anyway.
This was funny and entertaining.
Yeah.
Beast.
Right, triple main event.
Hell yeah.
Triple main event. And the triple main event kicks off with Mercedes Moné. First AEW match. She's been with the promotion now for a minute, but this is the first time she's been able to step in the ring. Her first match in about a year since her injury, of course. Big business, you know, big business. Willow Nightingale, the defending champion going into this one, but unfortunately she could not keep her hands on the title. Mercedes Moné comes out with the belt, and it wasn't a very good night for Willow Nightingale because her friends turned on her, and like, I just can't believe it, Joe.
Disgusting.
Well, I could, but you know.
You could, but it didn't make it any easier to take. Yeah, the big takeaway here for all the conversations about build and Mercedes promise, for all of those conversations, the big takeaway, this thing felt way different in terms of atmosphere. Like, when they were doing the introductions for this, it was like, oh shit, now this is as big a deal as we hoped it would be. Like, it had a real big feel, more so than anything else on the show, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, that was a great place to start and kind of gave you a real positive feel on the matter. But then once the match started, I mean, Mercedes is, to say she's a natural, probably doesn't
sharp, man.
Justice. And it's also like, even when there was a couple moments where there was like starter steps, which you expect, her wrestling brain is like razor sharp, bell to bell. Like the way she paces things, the way she places different parts of the match, the little cool spots that she'll slide in there that are actually very simple. The sign of a great wrestling mind is when they take an actually very simple spot and it stands out big. Like, for example, like the Willow catch spine buster she did. That had Mercedes fingerprints all over it, you know? Like, they had a really, really good match. This may have been the best match on the show. Willow Nightingale, it is actually staggering the rate she's improving at. She's like a genuine main event wrestler. Like, do you see the way she was selling in this thing when she did she did a perfect plex and sold her leg? Could put her leg down. That was like making the world champ. That's the kind of thing.
Joe, you know what's a good sign of Mercedes' instincts and just like what you're talking about when it comes to her feel. She puts late in the match, she puts Willow in a hold that she quickly realizes isn't an actual hold, and so she uses her right foot and starts to push on the Willow knee to turn it into something that puts pressure on her knee. Because she got her down for some type of like leg lock that like
I remember,
putting any pressure. Yeah, because she sets it up. I think the crowd thought she was gonna do a figure four. It wasn't like anything. Yeah, and it wasn't anything that she was doing, and so she's like, all right, fuck it, and just put pressure on and turn it into something. I was like, what a beast.
She's so good. They're both so good. That's the kind of pairing that you go back to over and over again. It should define the division and frankly the promotion.
I agree.
This could be a special feud. This was the first match, and it was really, really good. Great place to start.
They should find a pay-per-view this year to main event this with again. I don't know what that show would be, but there has to be, since they're doing them every month, you got to find, probably not Wrestle Dream, because that's going to be something with Danielson. I'd likely not All In. Whether it be All Out or fucking Full Gear or World's End, I think this has more legs, you know. So I go back to it.
Yeah, this is special, man. This is kind of everything I would have hoped it to be, you know, in the sense of he just delivered, man. And Willow having such a, like Joe mentioned, such a kind of like mature, you know, from performance. Mate. She's so good, man. Like she's probably, I think for me personally, she's probably my favorite thing about AEW overall.
She should probably be the face.
She has been for a minute. I think she's been the best part about this feud with Mercedes. I know, like, obviously everyone's been like hyper analyzing, like, and putting a magnifying glass on every single segment Mercedes does. Which, like, I get it. Like, she's a huge star, and of course, like, doing TV has never really been like her strong point. So, like, when she hits, the people who love Mercedes want to shout about it, and when she doesn't hit, it's like, oh god. So, like, so there's been like a lot of like I said, like a lot of light on Mercedes in this feud, but I think Willow has made such a good account of herself, Yeah, and like you've already said, like this feud, Mercedes and Willow, that should be like that should be
special,
a promotion defining feud,
It's natural, isn't it? It's just natural.
Yeah. And I'd like to prematurely celebrate the fact that Mercedes on TV should only get better from here by virtue of her like much more wrestling and less talking. Again, I will say this is a premature declaration, but nevertheless, it's just good to see her wrestling again. She reminded me why she's valued.
She's awesome. She's awesome, man. So yeah, Willow Nightingale, man, turned on by closest friends, Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. Absolute pieces of shit. They even teased like the whole, like, not tease, but they even like swayed us with the whole, Chris is gonna stand up for Willow, the walk off.
Sure.
Stokely's left in the ring, and I thought, they're gonna like play it out over the next week or so, but nope. Chris breaks the hearts,
I'm sorry to be that guy, but I do wish they let this breathe. It kind of annoyed me, and
this is bullshit.
I thought that was like insane to me, but whatever. It doesn't surprise me at this point, but like she turned heel and they moved on within like seconds, dude. Like, fuck, give it a minute, man. Could have shaved a minute from one of those undercard matches and given it time here,
Genuinely like jaw dropping. Like we get hit with this angle. I'm like, oh my god, damn it, they really did it. Up next, it's Chris versus Swerve. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
And this show was not. I mean, how long was this show? 4 hours and 30. It's like, dude, this was one of the things you actually should have allocated time to.
Yeah, that's a mistake, and I'd hope that they are aware about that in a way where they try to focus on it more starting this week's TV.
Yes, hopefully so.
Yeah, the match itself, amazing. Of course, the time's a big talking point, and I'm sure it will lead to some good wrestling and some, hopefully some more big stuff for Willow, and I'm sure she's going to be even more over now. Obviously, she hasn't got the title, but I'm pretty confident she's going to be a very, very big feature. So, yeah, man. All right. AEW World Title match. Swerve Strickland successfully defends against Christian Cage, although Christian Cage did try with all his might and all his shenanigans to, take that battle away. Didn't happen. Swerve retains his first pay-per-view World Title defense. Good one to get in the books, Joe.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, Ibou and I are going to kind of role reverse, and it's not to say he didn't like this match, he did, but I loved this match. I think, as I was the low man for Mox Takeshita, I'm the high man on this. I thought this match was like, honestly, I thought it was as good as anything else on the show. I thought this match was genuinely awesome, dude. I thought the way they paced this, the way they took their time, let the people rebuild and reset after the Mercedes Willow match, the way they built to him hitting the big sideway kick thing that I forget the name of, the way it looked when he hit it on the spear, the way Christian sold it like it was death immediately. Like, Christian here was just extraordinary. The way that he placed these false finishes, even though you knew full well he wasn't going to win, he had these spots to kind of convince you for like a half second, right? Which is all you can do. The house call, thanks to the chat. I just thought this really, really came together. I thought it was a classical main event, and it was my first time really seeing Swerve work a match like that outside of, I would say, perhaps the time limit draw with Hangman. It's kind of like a conventional main event, So, yeah, I love this match. Christian Cage is an all-timer to me. And you talk about a guy with a wrestling brain. Good God, man. I love this match. I'm the high man on this one. I thought it was tremendous.
Yeah, you are the high man, but I thought it was a good match, and I think kind of all the points you made were actually valid. It was just kind of I don't know, man. I don't know. It was a very
I
good
get
match. It was just. I think personally, for me watching it, it's one of those ones I'll absolutely have to watch it back because this is when I started to get like
Yeah, I sense
you
that.
know, because
A lot of people said that.
I was up and down because these late pay per views, especially when they go like 4.5, 5 hours, it's like I have like my energy goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and this was just one of those where my energy personally was just kind of down for it, and it had hardly anything to do whatsoever with the match, I guess it was just kind of because I got brought back in.
People
from,
crashed after Willow and Mercedes.
Yeah, so for me personally, that's all it was. But the match itself was great, and like I said, all those points that Joe made absolutely valid. I probably wouldn't push back on many of them, but yeah, it's one I am absolutely. I love how Christian Cage does his thing, man. It's he's like Joe said, he's such a smart wrestler. It's good to see him kind of just play out and plot these spots throughout the matches. He does it so well. Swerve as well. He can absolutely, he's world champ, bro. He's world champ and he's doing his thing with the belt. Nothing too bad to say at the moment. Ibou, what did you think of this sandwiched in the middle of the triple main event?
I thought it suffered from the fact that this was happening at like 11:45. For me, I thought the closing stretch was really, really well done. I thought they had some really nifty near falls, and it came together in a way that I thought was nice. But I really, outside of that stretch, I was very disappointed with this personally. I just thought. I think Christian has become one of those guys where he's a victim of his own success. I think he sets such a standard for himself. Like when I think of great Christian pay-per-view performances, I think of Wrestle Dream against Darby, where I just saw him ascend to it was just like, who the fuck is this? I think of that when I think of Christian Cage on pay-per-view being great, and this is a title match, And when you look at Swerve, he had great matches with like Hangman Page, so. I just thought this was very substandard for their own standards. Halfway through, the heat in the building was very much subdued following the Willow match. And again, they worked this in a way where had there been heat, it would have been better. Like they just had their match, and I just kind of struggled with it personally. With that said, though, I thought it did come together very like smartly, and like I said, it just tied in a very neat bow. That last house call was awesome in that counter. Yeah. Ultimately, of course, it's a good match. You have Swerve and Christian Cage. It just wasn't a great match, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said, Swerve successful title defense. We'll see. We'll see what Christian Cage falls into after this. Swerve, of course, big couple of months coming up for him with the pay-per-views coming up, of course. So we'll be locked in for that. They got the Casino Gauntlet coming up. So we'll see, man. But all right, main event, the actual main event. This went on last. It's the main event to me. Don't sell me that other stuff. Anarchy in the Arena. The Elite defeat Team AEW in one of the most chaotic, insane matches you'll see all year. Or ever, depending on what promotions you've watched over the years. But yeah, man, this was pure insanity, Tony Khan got thrown down the ramp. Jack Perry got set on fire because there was a flamethrower. Darby at one point I was genuinely worried about because I know he was hung upside down and he was selling, but like he literally didn't move. Like I couldn't stop watching it. It was distracting.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It was actually distracting. So yeah, he was hung upside down and kicked in the face with fucking thumbtack Reeboks. What else? There was a thumbtack Rainmaker. There was
which was very funny. Everything Okada did was funny, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
But yeah, pure chaos, man. Pure chaos. Final countdown. Yeah, man. This was chaos. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. Ibou, what do you make?
Yeah. This was this was good vibes. This was good stuff. There was a real palpable sense of joy and fun here. When they're fighting through Darby's music, and I was like, all right, I could rock out the Darby's theme while they fight, sure. And then the Bucks, I believe it was Matt Jackson, I want to say, grabbing the mic and be like, no, we're gonna do this one. I did actually audibly laugh when they switched it to the Bucks fucking Succession music. And so when Danielson was like, no, I was like, no way, they're gonna do Final Countdown, and they do. And I was like, okay, let's get up my fist. Those 3 minutes where they're fighting the Final Countdown were like the best 3 minutes of this show, in my opinion. Darby Allin doing a coffin drop right as it literally says Final Countdown was incredible. This was a lot of fun, very zany, very over the top, very silly. It's that type of like batshit irony wrestling that I actually generally normally don't connect with, to be completely honest with you. I don't really like this type of shit. If a match is like crazy and like violent this way, I prefer to be serious, but this just worked. And I think the real reason why I like this more than last year, because I thought this was far superior to last year personally, and it's really just a feeling thing, to be honest, because they're both just multi-person stunt shows, right? But I think for me, what works better here is I just buy the conflict between the two sides better, and I can get into the heroes of this one better than I did last year, where I just didn't really believe the conflict. I didn't buy into it, and I didn't love the set of heroes in that role. Here I can. Bryan Danielson's obviously just tremendous, and Darby Allin's just gonna, die for the love of the game. So I thought this was a spectacular main event and a hell of a spectacle.
Yeah. Spectacle's the word.
Definitely,
right?
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was on mute.
Mhm.
Definitely a spectacle, Joe Hall,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
take
as
it away.
advertised, right? Anarchy in the Arena, I think, is a pretty apt description for what this was. I agree with it, but I also referred it to the second one. It's the thing with this stip is like I think people get lost in the comparison. This is just a hoot, basically, right? I mean, that's really what it is. It's a party match, and I agree with you completely, Ibou, that these heroes are probably more to you and to our taste. I think it's fair to say, but at core, it's like you do a handful of set pieces, and in between those set pieces, guys walk to every corner of the building and brawl and interact with all of the chicanery that will emerge in that way. And this one certainly had. I mean, the fire visual is one of the more insane things that you'll ever see on a wrestling pay-per-view. I mean, I think we all kind of thought there was a chance they would do something like that, but it's still different to seeing it, right? And the Darby thing of him hanging upside down and the crowd trying, please help Darby.
Yeah, I so bad for him. I sort of feel it in my own head. I was like, oh my God, bro, I would probably die. Yeah.
Dude, when Dragon was doing his kicks and making his comeback, while Darby just it was one of the most ridiculous visuals ever.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Like, I find it, when we talk about best match tonight, I find it very hard to like compare this because it's so different.
Yeah.
But this really gave the show like some punch to close. I thought it was a really chaotic and fun way to close the show. And I think Ibou's right to point out the tone is like an impressive thing, because considering what they're fighting about, there's definitely a version of this where it's too silly. But they went for it so much. There was such violence with that kind of Looney Tunes vibe that it didn't undercut it. It really 100%. Worked. I thought it was very fun. Very, very fun.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, great way to end the show. I'll tell you overall, a good show with a lot of good things on it, but probably just bloated, just kind of too much, too much, too long. I saw a lot of people kind of arguing and then pushing back on there was too many stories on the show and the things like that. It's like there was just too much everything on the show,
right, yeah.
Because obviously when you get specific, go on.
No, sorry, man. I just gonna say it was a good show that if you could edit would probably be a great show, a lot easier for us. I think would be the way, right? Like, yeah, but it was good.
It would help the big moments in the angle stand out a little bit better when they get less muddy.
100%.
Close very strong. The triple main event, quote unquote, I thought really delivered. So
success. Yeah. The big takeaway has been MJF's return. Mercedes looking as sharp as she did. And just there's kind of the chaos of the Anarchy in the Arena, I'd say. As the big three talking points.
Good show.
All right, we got WWE pipe to talk about. A lot shorter. It's so weird seeing them next to each other on Cage Match, but King and Queen of the Ring 2024 live from Saudi Arabia. And we're diving straight into it. We ain't wasting any time here. Get your super chats in for both shows, and we'll get to we'll do a good run. Of super chats.
We're gonna do this, folks. We're gonna do it.
All right. So kicking off, King and Queen in the ring. I mean, the pre-show there was Bianca and Jade. Nice little defense. Got a new finisher. Looked cool. People pop for it online. God bless. Main show, WWE Women's Title match starts off with a title change. Liv Morgan defeats Becky Lynch and is now the new WWE Women's World Champion. She holds Rhea Ripley's vacated title, and I'm sure that's obviously going to play out into a lot of different things. Dominic Mysterio was involved in the finish, trying to pretend like he fucked up when we all know what he was doing. He's playing a game, Joe Hall, but I don't trust him.
That's very cynical. You should trust Dominic Mysterio. He's shown us that he's nothing not trustworthy. Very cynical, Montel.
Indeed. But I thought, honestly though, all bits aside, I thought this match was very just kind of okay. And it kind of got saved by the fact that everyone will talk about the finish, the dumb stuff, Liv being the new champion. So they kind of got away with just having kind of like a match, maybe I'm off. Joe, what did you think?
It's funny.
No, go on, Ibou. Go on.
I thought it was better than okay, but you know what I found myself thinking? I feel like every Liv Becky match is about as good as each other. I feel like they're all above average while not being particularly like they're all to me like 3 to 3 1/4. They get decent time because Becky's able to secure that time for herself when she works Liv Morgan. They work relatively hard. They try to lay it out in a way where you get some good near falls and so on and so forth. But yeah, they're all just like decent to me. They're all like pretty decent. My big takeaway of this match was, my first reaction, because I review Raw. I have to review Raw. So I'm like, okay, so Liv's the champion. And I guess what we're going to see now is Dominic is going to add to his Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Fame legacy by trying to make Liv Morgan compelling television. I'll say this. If they can do a duo act,
like her, man.
I don't give a shit.
I know you. But you say like, oh, make it compelling. Like, I guess if you say it for you, but I mean, as in like when you say it like that when we're on a review, it makes it sound like people aren't into her and shit. Like they are, man.
T-shirts selling well.
You and Rob kick the shit out of it every fucking Tuesday on that Raw review, bro. This is
we're honestly very. I don't know what
the only time he's going to get some pushback.
I don't know what you want me to do when she's standing across the ramp from Becky, going, "Well, Becky, you're going to face the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour."
Over, brother.
Nevertheless, my point is this: that has not been good television, right? Now, if she does a duo act with Dominic, or he's being ambiguous as to what he's really doing with her, and if he's still with mommy, that could be kind of entertaining. So I guess we'll see what happens there, and we'll see what Becky's future is. The match is okay as an opener.
I liked it. I liked it, Monty. I honestly thought it was pretty good. I actually thought Liv was like good here. The only problem is I don't think she quite knows what heel Liv Morgan is, which nor do I, so we've got that in common. But it takes time. I think her offense has some like decent flashes. I thought they had a pretty good match, to be fair.
You know what pops me about Liv? When she wrestles extended matches, like you can tell that like she's trying to get in a bag. Because like she tries to do like these different cool new moves, and that it just pops me as like a little bit. She
goes for it, man. I don't watch Raw weekly, so like I don't get the roller coaster that Ibou gets on the reviews. But like, what positive about Liv is she fucking goes for it. She's very enthusiastic with it. The way she bumps.
Mm-hmm. The way she bumps is just probably might be the best thing about her, to be honest.
She pops me in that way. I thought it was pretty good.
But yeah, new world champion, Liv Morgan, after Dom, he slid in a chair, thought Becky was going to use it, knowing damn well Becky wouldn't use it. Liv uses it to her advantage. It's a finisher as well. And then, new champ. All right, next up, Intercontinental title, triple threat match.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, Chad Gable. I said going into the preview that, like, I'm not a big fan of multi-man, triple threats, fatal four ways, whether it's tag, singles, or whatever, But this match did intrigue me because the dynamic of having like a big man like Bronson Reed, the genius of Sami Zayn, and just the greatness that is Chad Gable, and you got like the Otis factor as well, which the crowd was always going to be into. There's a lot of factors that really played out nicely in this, sort of thought. A successful title defense for Sami Zayn. Bronson Reed has been vanquished from the IC title scene, and man,
I'll tell you what, he went out with a career high last. Look, you guys
went out.
You guys kicked the shit out of Braun Reed, But look, man, that guy went out there and he was playing hard. He was getting some rebounds. He was diving for loose balls. He had a couple jump shots. He hit some threes. Bronson Reed gave you 25 on that night,
15.
Nah.
No, he was good at. You know what this actually revealed? He would be a really good tag worker because he has good offense. And when you plug him in the way they did here, because Sami Zayn is like an insane person, and I'd imagine he took about 4 days to put this together. When you plug Bronson Reed in like this, he actually is like really impressive. It's the stuff in between that I don't like. But I think he would be a really good tag worker for that reason. This way over delivered, dude. This may have been the overachiever of the weekend. Crowd loved it. Came together wonderfully. The Otis stuff is going good. This was very good, Ibou.
Yeah, this is exactly what I expected it was going to be. I thought that this was going to be a fun triple threat match. The crowd in Saudi. Here's the thing. It was good action, but like at the heart of it was the hero, Sami Zayn, who was the hero of the story. And in this environment, they've received him as such. And so he was the center of this from that standpoint. The action was good. You got some sick Germans. Chad Gable did a double German suplex to Bronson Reed and Sami Zayn. He deadlifted Bronson Reed. How did he not bust a fucking gut doing that? Bronson Reed he broke out a moonsault. He did Samoa Joe's elbow suicida. I was like, no fucking way. He did it. And great action. This literally played out like I literally said, Sammy has to lose to Gable last week. I said he has to lose to Gable because Gable is going to come back after Saudi, having not won the match but not being pinned, saying, "You piece of shit, you didn't beat me," and that's what happened. Bronson Reed was the one that fucking got pinned here. I will say they did Otis's deal slightly differently because I thought Otis was going to have a little more agency in hitting Gable. It appeared to be slightly done as a mistake here. Nevertheless, the same story beat's going to happen. He's going to get smoked tonight. He's going to get whacked tonight.
Poor Otis.
I thought it came together very well. This felt very X Division in some respects. When I mean X Division, I mean the real X Division. Not that bullshit they feed you on Thursday night.
Ibou, it's not about weight limits. It's about no limits, brother.
About no limits, you know what I mean? And to your point about Bronson, I agree. The thing with him is he can do some cool stuff. He's not menacing, and in control sections, because you don't buy the menace, it just makes it uncompelling because it's like you're just seeing a chubby guy just like whack a dude a little bit slowly. But in here, it came together really well. That's fucking awesome, to be completely honest with you.
It rolled. It did roll.
Good stuff. And yeah, of course, like I said, the finish with Otis, crowd was into it. People like Otis, man. He's just a likable character to him. So we'll see how that plays out. Ibou thinks he's getting whacked.
Yeah.
So pray for him. All right. Queen of the Ring 2024 finals. And we did it. We did it, people. Queen Nia Jax. Wow, man.
Worldwide was way ahead of this night of thing, I have to say. Way
Bro,
ahead. The chat kicked the shit out of us the first time we did this.
Fuck him. Nia Jax, You wanna know the turning point was for me that started the agenda. It was before she got signed to WWE and I saw she was working out with Charlotte Flair. I was like, oh baby, And honestly though, she come back and everyone was like, what the fuck? Because it wasn't like rumored or anything either. And obviously because Nia just disappeared like out of the wrestling world, other than that like weird money laundering show she got booked on. people were just like, "What the fuck are they thinking? Like, bring it like Nia Jax," because like she did have a rough ending to her last run, but she came back. She's hardly missed, bro. She knows who she is as a character on the roster as well. And that's the main thing that pops me about her. She knows who she is. She's a big woman that just throws bitches around and shit. She's menacing and she just plays the role really well. And I think she's had some really good moments throughout the year so far and since her return. And it was cool to see her kind of, I guess, get like a reward in winning the Queen of the Ring. And she's going to be, she's probably going to face Bayley at SummerSlam, which I think with the way Bayley's operating at the moment, I think that could be very, very good as well. So shout out Nia.
For all that said, this was like just a TV match, though.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't get into it too much.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it did have a classic finish that they should replay every TV.
I fucking right.
Finish. Yeah, for sure.
All-time finish. Pretty good match.
Yeah. She had a better one the night before with Bianca Belair.
Yeah, Lyra is... Lyra's mechanically very good. I think she still has a ways to go, which is fine. She's been called up like a month ago, dude.
Something there, though, isn't it?
There's a charm to her.
Yeah.
There's a charm and there's a likability, but it's just a matter of like highlighting it and letting her fully grow into it. I actually think it was for the best she didn't win here.
Yeah.
Something.
Making the statement by having her go deep was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think the match after this made an even bigger statement, folks.
Oh baby, this was
this is something you throw the grill on. You got to throw something on the grill. You got to
crack a couple beers.
You got to cry. Oh man,
you get the recliners out.
Listen, man. you got to put on some R&B. You know what I mean? You got to just.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute.
Oh man.
The King of the Ring final 2024. Gunther defeats the Viper, Randy Orton, in what was just one of my favorite matches in the minute. It was my favorite match of the weekend. It was just grown men selling. Fucking Gunther the way Gunther can be so compelling when he works on top is like something that I think like future generations should like study for years to come. Like he's that good, man. Especially in a time where so many wrestlers' heat segments bored the fuck out of me. Obviously all the things that make Gunther so good are kind of highlighted by like what Randy's strengths are and the way he plays the game now. And this was beautiful, Joe.
It was very, very. This was a real fun one to watch for us. I think losers. If you like Worldwide, you probably had a similar experience to the three of us. Yeah. A bunch of nerds popping huge as Randy staggers and shit. At one point in this match, Gunther did a body slam and Randy sold it for like 30 full seconds, like just writhing in agony. These guys are different. This match was great. This was also my match of the weekend. The lock-up, the pacing early, the way they let the atmosphere just run wild, and it was a crazy atmosphere. The way they built to that first chop. And Gunther, they were in the corner, and Gunther was like fighting for the hands to try and get position. And he fired away, and Randy's sell of it was like
genuine.
It was like such rage that he'd let him land one, like it was like he'd scouted the chops to her. Man, I thought this match was great. Unfortunately, the finish was a shame. Not only was the execution bad, obviously Randy's shoulder was way up and the camera angle didn't hide that well, but also it felt, and to make it worse, I didn't like the finish, like even beyond that, because like it felt abrupt, and I also didn't like the way Gunther got himself in position. The way he was like scooting to get ready to. It slightly took the edge off. But still, it was my match of the week. The work in this was just beautiful, man. I actually thought Orton was like, to me, Orton was the better half of this match, which says a fucking ridiculous amount about how good he was here, because Gunther was on the money. He was spectacular here, as always. So, yeah, these guys are great. I mean, I think this dynamic is something we circled months ago when talking about matches for Randy to have when he gets back, because it's easy. Guys that can give Randy stuff to sell, he's going to have great matches with him every time. Great match.
can't believe this is where I'm at with Randy Orton. I've always I can't. No, but I don't think even you realise how far I am at the moment. Randy Orton in this King of the Ring tournament, like the performance he's had, like fuck it. He's my, as of May 2024, Randy Orton is my favourite in-ring worker to watch. Like every match he has, bro, I'm just sitting here popping, hooting and hollering. He's just staggering around, It's just different, bro. He's a professional.
The chat's right to call it out. Actually, I should know on the finish. It was great that Gunther chopped Randy's bad leg. I should know that.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah,
folks. Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. Randy Orton and Gunther, they did this for Luthez.
I wasn't expecting that.
They did this for Carl Gotch. They did this for Billy Robinson. They did this for Bruno Sammartino. They did this for Nick Bockwinkel. This was classical Broadway North American pro wrestling. This was just beautiful classical championship wrestling. Every second mattered. Every hold mattered. Every hold counted. It felt so organic as it was unfolding. The bell rang, and no one has yet made any point about the heat that this had. And these people were going banana for this fucking Clash of Titans. As it begins, you're in a Game 7 situation. They do a lockup, and it's neither guy wants to give an inch. So as the referee has to literally tuck his body into the men, in between the men, to break the lockup up like it's an old school fight. And as he does so, like, you just feel that feistiness, right? And there's just a great sense of physicality throughout this, a sense of physicality and a sense of attrition. Because by the end of it, they're both red, they're both sweating. It felt like the environment was very hot and heavy and dense, and it was getting to them. And my goodness, I'm just watching this thing, and I'm almost getting emotional. I'm like watching this thing. I was waiting for Randy to do a superplex. That would have taken this over the top. Had he done his big,
he couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it. My goodness, I'll put it to you like this. I was just enraptured in a moment watching this thing. Even as it was just starting out, I'm like, man, this is just what this should feel like, quite frankly. And as
King of the Ring,
it escalated and built on itself, I thought to myself, like, this could potentially, and we did not get to that point, but I was like, this could potentially trend towards being, in my opinion, one of the best matches in company history.
When you text me that, I popped huge. When you text me that,
you saw Randy locking on the crown before the match started.
This is trending to be one of the best matches in WWE history, and I yelled out loud.
I'm just because you know what it was? They're on the outside, and Gunther unleashes another chop, just and Randy's kind of like, you see him kind of stagger a little, and I was like, oh, Randy.
Yeah, Randy did that celery steps on the side of his foot that always pops.
This was gorgeous. And what makes it more gorgeous is that it was this level of great in modern wrestling when so few matches on a main event level are worked like this. And when and what makes it more amazing is that, there's always those people in podcasts who do the whole like slow it down, tell a story, and that type of shit, right? But typically they don't even really know what they're saying, nor are they able to pull off what they're even talking about doing this at a high level. But to see it done at a high level successfully, and these people are hanging on by a thread as Randy's in agony, was just gorgeous. So I found this match to be beautiful. I think it's one of the greatest Randy Orton singles matches of all time. And this is also my match of the weekend, nudging it slightly over some of the better matches on the Double or Nothing pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They did it main event. Well, Triple H came out, presented Nia Jax and Gunther with their crowns after they both won their respective matches. And he's soaking in the spotlight, he's liking that a lot lately. But anyway, moving on to the main event. Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, world title on the line. I thought it was a nice main event. Didn't think it was anything like spectacular. You know, I thought Cody Rhodes worked a lot of fun elements into this. You know, Logan Paul did his thing. There was that cool drone shot that everyone was like talking about and putting over. And yeah, I thought this was a success, to be honest. Another successful title defense for Cody Rhodes, and we'll see. We'll see what they've got cooking for him when he's going into, you know, Clash at the Castle, SummerSlam, etc., etc. Ibou, you enjoyed this quite a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Listen, what did I say on the fucking preview, Monty? Cody Rhodes, this is the new normal. The new normal is Cody Rhodes walks into these venues, gets massive pops, and has awesome pay-per-view main events. That's your new normal. You know, it's not Solo Sikoa in a hooded mask, you know, coming into Samoan Spike people. It's not, you know, inconsistent backselling and frog splashes. It's Cody Rhodes going out there, working like a man with another guy and having a great match. This was the best Logan Paul match since WrestleMania last year by a country mile, and I mean a country mile. Cody Rhodes, to me, is Rock 2000 to 2002 level reliable in these pay-per-view main events in terms of being a top-level superstar that can just have an awesome closer to these pay-per-views, and is a massive asset to these WWE events. So I thought this rocked, to be completely honest with you. A lot of the extra elements, and I was a fan of it.
Yeah, man. Joe?
Ibou liked it more than I did, but I think you could have guessed that would be the case before the bell rang. It just is what it is, right? But I did think it was good. At one point, I actually was trending towards being like almost great. Like I love that kind of amateur wrestling stuff they were playing with early on. I thought it really came off well, and there was some really nice ingredients here. I did think they overextended and went long, and by the end, it was kind of like, okay, someone needs to win, you know? Yeah, that's just for me. It came. I still thought it was a good match. It's a fun weekend in that. If you did your top 5 matches of the weekend, my personal top 5 would be 1 from King of the Ring, the final, and the next 4 would probably be the 4 AEW matches. And that kind of, I think, captures the weekend in some ways. This match would be the second match, I would say, that would threaten that for me from King of the Ring, maybe the triple threat. But a good match. I agree with the Cody praise completely. I just think they tried a little too hard to make it like an epic by the end, but a good wrestling match nonetheless.
They definitely could have went home like 7 minutes. What they did.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you didn't need to go 25.
But for the love of
little things, you know, like I said, it was still a success. So
yeah, good match.
I thought as a show, this was for me. I thought it was the best in-ring WWE show of the year, personally, because for me, I thought there were 3 really strong matches, which maybe the season high for WWE on pay-per-view. I'd have to check.
What about Night 2 Mania? Was that not better? I can't remember.
People are probably going to choose that over this. I like, strangely, might have liked this show more.
That's fair enough. It was a good show. I like both shows, as we said at the start of the show.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
All right. Going on an all-time speed run with this
Let's do it.
Chat stuff. Let's do it. Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. Y'all think Mercedes' first title Aitchison will be with Paige because what? Her first title defense will be with Paige because she's teasing it. God help us, lol.
Maybe.
No, I don't think it will be. Victor 199. You didn't like dicey spots, lol.
Jericho match.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Berkey 199. Glad the Mavs was on. Can't imagine Trent into Y2J.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jericho graphic was crazy when it came up.
Corey David, $2. Kermit from Reddit saying Becky's done. Damn.
Wow.
Kermit, the man in the shadows of Reddit. Rayan Mohammed, $4.99. Appreciate it. 2000s Rod equals mana. Rod. Yeah, so I was thinking, is he talking about Dennis Rod? No. Mana babyface. He didn't change anything from heel to face. Same can be applied to 2011 CM Punk. Ibou heel Rock versus face Punk equals mana money bags. Get my big business. Not reading that name, but thank you for $5. What women wrestlers give you that true big match feel despite others being bare in ring? No one gives me that feeling more than Bianca. It always depends. It's always a pairing for me. I don't think there is. I don't. Obviously, I think there was a lot of novelty to like Mercedes being in an AEW ring for the first time, wrestling match for a year last night, and that was definitely something. And I think that would be the case with a lot of the bigger stars in women's wrestling if they change promotion or whatever, or was out for a long time. like you can carry that. But I think it's always pairings. I don't think there is like a single one where it's like, oh, her against anyone's going to feel huge, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'd agree.
Anjan, $2. Stat and Stoke should be in prison. Hashtag thugs, hashtag criminals. Agreed. And one star win, $5. Appreciate you. Will Montal do the TK barrel roll down the stage at the first WrestlePurists wrestling promotion show? Who are the top 5 babyface wrestlers in North America right now? Cody Rhodes, Will Ospreay,
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso's like definitely
Randy
the second.
Orton.
Jey Uso's like clearly the second most popular as well, like by some distance. You know,
Orton's got to be close, right?
Orton for me, 100%. He's like I said, he's my favorite fucking person to watch wrestle at the moment. So,
are we talking about like again? Is this popular or skill? Because skill, in terms of talent, Willow's like my favorite babyface.
Willow, I'd put her up there anyway.
Sammy,
Sammy, yeah, there we go.
There's a lot of good
baby
babyfaces, bro. Yeah,
I think we named 5.
we named like 8 there. Don't worry about it.
Ryan, 199. Ibou, Punk with Reps versus Gable equals March 22 Punk form.
That match would be sexy.
Ryan, 199. Ibou, when will Punk wrestle? What's the plans?
Watch and find out. CM Punk is going to be back sooner than later.
Phantom FTW, £2. Now go on, Ibou. Did you have more to add?
Yeah, his elbow feels, quote, great.
The SummerSlam.
Phantom FTW, £2. Appreciate it. Did the fire cost Jack the use of his pants?
Feels like a personal question.
Scott, $6.99 Canadian. Appreciate it. Cope hasn't lost a feud other than Roman since his return.
Let's fucking go.
Anas the Salt, $2. Allah, forgive me. Gunther Randy was perverted as fuck.
Factual.
Hodge 199. Appreciate it. Terrorist holding gold in my precious Fed. Who?
Awesome Truth. Liv Morgan.
Oh, come on. Moving on.
Flag on the play.
$5. We know this was 2010 Randy. We know if this was 2010 Randy, he would be like, I'm not taking it out to Gunther clean. I'm going to shoot, put my shoulders up. Well, it's 2024 and no shoulders are up. So, yeah, I love him, but, you know. Jumanji, $5. Appreciate it. How much does the abruptness of a finish affect your watching experience? Because really, most matches there should be an end. There should be an end anytime feeling. So, yeah, like a real fight.
Yeah, it's the main thing for me is I don't need the big finishing stretch. I just think there's a flow where a match peaks. That's where the finish should be. If that makes sense. It's hard for me to describe. When you see it, I thought Gunther and Randy were like a beat early. If that makes any sense.
Vultures and $5. Do y'all think Becky will give AEW a chance, or will she pull a Tandy and fake of Randy and fake like she will?
Pull a Randy.
I mean, if Kermit is actually saying I'm ready, but she's done, then I think that I won't say like that's like got super weight like an actual report, but like he's pretty prolific.
I'm gonna quickly read what he said because it's funny. I saw it. So he 3 separate comments. One of them was "soak in the night." And then another one was, enjoy the last appearance from the man. And then another one was, savor tonight.
Eerie stuff. Anyway.
Maybe
Maybe she's retiring. Yeah. Maybe she's retiring. Anyway, we have to get out of here. Slight overrun, but
we did
had
it.
A lot to pack in. We had a lot of super chats at the end there as well. And we appreciate all the support as always. And Ibou and Rob and is Isra on tomorrow?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, we got Raw review tomorrow. Ibou is gonna put over Liv Morgan in this epic cage match that she's gonna probably successfully defend her world title in. So look forward to that, people, and I'm sure Ibou will too. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like and subscribe on your way out. I know it's whatever. And I guess quick one, I want to know in the comments. Doing Joe Hall call to action here. What was your match of the weekend? And who was your wrestler of the weekend? Pretty basic, but let me know in the comments. All right, getting out of here. Thanks for watching. Peace.